Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're finally back. Sorry for the long wait of videos. This microphone has been really weird. We don't know what we did, but it's fixed. We just clicked a few buttons and now it's fine now. It's not as good as my earlier videos, not like they were amazing, but it's still fine for what it is. And we're back reviewing, thank God, I'm so happy. Today we're going to do the first TV show on this channel, Obi Wan Kenobi, which I've just watched. It's the new Star Wars Disney Plus show. I'm going to give my points on it. So let's get into it. Let's go straight into it. But just before that, make sure to check out my letterbox, IMDb. I'll leave links to them in the description. Also, I might make a playlist of all the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World reviews that I've done. But apart from that, let's just get straight into it. So I've got to be honest. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. Yeah, I have flaws with it, as everyone does. The first two, I think, are obviously the best. The original trilogy is one of the best trilogies in movie history. But I will say, ever since Disney has taken over Star Wars, it's kind of been downhill. I like The Force Awakens. I don't mind Rogue One and Last Jedi. Same with Solo. But it was Rise of Skywalker for me that really just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I think because of that film, I've just really had no interest in watching stuff like Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars Visions, all these things that people are saying are really good. I've just not been bothered to watch. But I love Obi Wan Kenobi, so I thought I'll give this show a try. And I must say, I was expecting big things, and they really disappointed me with it. That's not to say this show is all bad. There's some very good positives, which I'll list now. I think the main positive, of course, Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi. Absolutely brilliant in the prequels, a trilogy which I'm not really amazed of. But he's brilliant in them, and he's brilliant in this show. He's obviously the standout performance in this. He embodies Obi-Wan. He's fantastic. I also think the child actors were good. I forgot the names, but the girl who plays young Princess Leia, people have been trashing on her, saying that her performance was a bit bad. But I don't think so. I think she was perfectly fine with what she had to do. The problem was she wasn't given much, but I'll get to that soon. I will say this, I think the final episode was where this show really hit its height. Probably the last two episodes was where this show really hit its height. I think the story improved in those last two episodes. I think the fights were a lot better. I think the final fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in the final episode was very cool. And there's very loads of tension, even though you know both of these characters aren't going to die. But it holds really good emotional weight to it, and I really liked it better than the one in episode 3, which I'll get to soon. Of course, the special effects are great. I don't really see any bad special effects ever since Disney's taken over Star Wars, in my opinion. They all look great, especially for TV. It definitely feels like it deserves to be on TV, but it still is really eye-popping for what it is. Apart from that, that's all I can really say about this show. This show really, really disappointed me. I think the main problem was the story. It's easy to understand and basic, but the problem is the characters are actually really bad. Obi-Wan Kenobi, as I said, great character, but it kind of feels like his arc pretty much ends in the second episode of his 6-part limited series. If you're going to create an arc for a character, it needs to hold throughout all 6 episodes unless you kill them in an earlier episode. But the big problem for me was Reva, the villain, kind of the villain. Her motivation doesn't come until the 5th episode, the second to last episode. And that was really annoying because you could have set this redemption up in the 3rd episode, then you would have had half of how she goes to power and then how she redeems herself. That would have been great. The thing is, her motivation was already spoilt from the first scene in the 1st episode. As soon as that first scene popped up, I was like, she's the 3rd sister, and I know what's going to happen. So pretty much, she was just a basic character. Her motivation made sense, but it was just spoilt too easily for me and really weak. There's also characters in this that are just really, really dumb. The Grand Inquisitor was very teased in the trailers for this, and he does nothing of interest at all. He's in the first 2 episodes. He has a fake death. He comes back, and I swear in the last episode he says 2 lines, and then he just never shows up again. How disappointing is that? You've set him up in the trailers to be this great villain, and he does nothing. Nothing at all. His conflict with Raver is glossed over, and it is just so dumb and lazy. You could have done so much with this character, and you just wasted him. I will say that the character of Tala was fine. She's likeable. When she dies in the 5th episode, I did actually feel a bit emotional. But the thing is, she doesn't really do anything. She does something in the 4th episode, and she kind of protects Obi-Wan and Leia, but that's it, really. But I think in the 3rd episode was where I felt kind of where she was kind of unlikable because of the dumb decisions she's made. This leads on to this. Dumb decisions and plot conveniences. You'll be drowning in plot conveniences and character decisions in this film. There's so many moments where you think, why has this character done this? Why are you doing this? And there's so much plot armor on these characters just so the plot moves forward. And it's so dumb. I'll give one example. In the 2nd to last episode, Raver gets stabbed. She should be dead. But oh no, in the 6th episode, she comes back nice and walked, no injury, no nothing. Yeah, she's fine. Same with Obi Wan Kenobi, he gets really injured in the 3rd episode. Comes back in the 4th episode, he's fine, he's in a battle tank for 5 seconds, he's all job done, he's good. Like, you could have added some great tension to this story if you kept those elements in. But they just gloss over them. And because of that, you just don't feel no tension. The main problem was that there was just not enough new characters to care about to add to that tension. Because if you're a big Star Wars fan, you know Kenobi's going to live. You know Leia and Luke are going to live. You know Darth Vader's not going to kill them all. So there's hardly any tension. Apart from Tala, that's all you really care about, to be honest. And it was very disappointing. But I must say, up until episode 4, this show was god awful. It was so basic, so slow, so sloppy. The 3rd episode, Darth Vader and Obi Wan Kenobi fight, and it's a little scuffle. But one thing that made me really laugh out loud and nearly wet myself was where Kenobi is just holding his lightsaber there, trying to hold Darth Vader back. Darth Vader's like that. Now, when you try to disarm someone, you want to be pounding them, but this is what he does. And as soon as I saw that, I was laughing my head off. It was so funny because this Darth Vader is supposed to be enraged by Obi-Wan. He wants to torture him. But you just do that. Wow, great way to disarm it. You're full of rage with that. It's like the writers didn't really care. And the worst part is, they're messing with canon. So many moments. In the last episode, Luke sees a lightsaber. And that was one thing I beg they did not do. Because now you've just undermined something in the 4th film. And it's just so disappointing. It's like these writers didn't know anything much about Star Wars and what made it great. Up until episode 4, as I said, the show was bad. The 4th episode for me was just filler. That's what it was. It was just random filler. There was one shot that did nothing to add to the story. It was just really disappointing, this show. I expected a lot better from it. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my favourite Star Wars characters, and they treated him like this. Finally, there was one character in the last scene of the final episode. Nice to see him, but it was very underwhelming, really. He says 2 lines and then he's gone. It was just really disappointing. And I get this is not a lot of fan service in this show, which I do appreciate. We're not relying on a lot of fan service, but I don't know, man. I just really wanted more from this show. And if they do win it for a 2nd season, I expect a massive improvement because I really find it hard to get into this show, unfortunately. Overall, Kenobi has a couple of really great performances. The last 2 episodes were very, very good. Big improvement over the last 4. Special effects are brilliant. The final fight between Darth Vader and Obi Wan Kenobi was really good. Really enjoyed that. But apart from that, and maybe some of the later action scenes, that's all this show has going for it, unfortunately. Just the first 4 episodes really dragged this show down, unfortunately. Overall, Obi-Wan Kenobi, big disappointment. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. I'm quite lenient on that. I was thinking to put it to a 5, but I think a 4.5 is a very fair score, to be honest. But thank you guys for watching this review. Next up, I'm seeing the Black Phone today, so I'll be reviewing that next time. Make sure to check out my letterbox. There's a few films which I should have done on here, but I couldn't. Stuff like Lightyear is on there too. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a like and a subscribe, and see you later. Bye bye.